Resilience is not about avoiding hardship. It is not about having a life free of storms. Rather, it is about learning how to stand in the rain and still keep your eyes on the sunrise. It's about falling hard, sometimes publicly, sometimes painfully, and choosing, again and again, to rise. Let me begin with a truth that binds us all together: life will test you. Whether you're ready or not, whether you think you deserve it or not, life will break your heart, challenge your plans, and stretch your spirit to its limits. That's not pessimism, that's reality. But here is the other, more powerful truth: you are built to endure. You are built to withstand, to adapt, to overcome. Resilience is not something you are born with, it is something you build. We often glorify strength as if it means being untouched by adversity. But the strongest people you know, those who inspire you, who radiate peace and power, were not those who have never been broken. They are the ones who were shattered, who wept in the dark, who doubted themselves, and yet chose to fight another day. They stitched themselves back together with hope, thread by thread, and kept walking. Resilience does not mean you never cry. It means you cry, and then you wipe your tears and keep going. It means your knees may buckle, your hands may tremble, your heart may ache, but your will remains fierce. That is the resilience we must build. One of the most powerful tools in building resilience is perspective. How we interpret our hardships determines whether they will define us or refine us. You can see a failure as the end of the road, or you can see it as a detour, a lesson, a necessary redirection. You can see heartbreak as devastation, or you can see it as proof that you dared to love deeply. You can see rejection as proof you are not good enough, or you can see it as protection, as guidance pushing you to where you truly belong. Resilient people reframe their pain. They don't lie to themselves, they don't pretend it doesn't hurt, but they refuse to let the pain narrate their story. Ask yourself, what is life trying to teach me? How can this make me better, stronger, more compassionate? When you start asking these questions, you shift from being a victim of your circumstances to being the author of your own comeback. Resilience is not built overnight. It's not something you unlock in a single, grand moment of courage. It is a daily practice. It's built in the quiet decisions you make each day. When you choose to show up, even when you're tired. When you speak kindly to yourself after a mistake. When you ask for help instead of pretending you're fine. When you keep going, not because you feel brave, but because your purpose is bigger than your pain. Every time you face discomfort and lean into it, rather than away, you are stretching your resilience muscle. You are training yourself to endure, to grow, to rise. History is filled with stories of those who built resilience, not in moments of triumph but in seasons of trial. Think of Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison and emerged not with bitterness but with a vision of reconciliation. Think of Malala Yousafzai, who was shot for going to school, but chose to fight for the education of millions. Think of Stephen Hawking, diagnosed with ALS and told he had 2 years to live. He lived for over 5 decades, reshaping our understanding of the universe, all while confined to a wheelchair, communicating with a computer. What made these people extraordinary was not just intelligence or talent. It was resilience, the refusal to be defined by circumstance, and the audacity to hope in the face of despair. But you don't need to look to icons. You just need to look around you. The single mother working 2 jobs to feed her children. The cancer survivor who walks into each scan with fear in her heart and hope in her eyes. The student who failed an exam and still signs up to try again. These are the quiet warriors of everyday life. Their strength is silent, but it is monumental. So how do we, in our own lives, cultivate this resilience? 1. Accept, don't avoid. Pain, loss, failure, these are inevitable. The more you run from them, the more power they hold. Acceptance is not surrender, it is the first step toward growth. 2. Cultivate inner dialogue. What you say to yourself matters. When you fall, do you say, I'm a failure? Or do you say, this is hard, but I'm learning? Your mind believes what you tell it. 3. Lean on others. Resilience is not solitary. We are stronger together. Reach out. Be honest. Allow others to help carry the weight when it feels too heavy. 4. Find purpose in pain. Use your struggles as fuel for compassion, wisdom, and direction. What have you endured that can now help others? 5. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Every small step is a victory. Every time you refuse to give up, you are winning. I want to leave you with this. There will be times when you feel like giving up, on a dream, on a relationship, on yourself. There will be moments where the weight feels unbearable. And in those moments, I urge you to remember this. You have survived 100% of your worst days. There is a strength in you that has not yet been fully revealed. There is more to your story. You are not at the end. You are at a beginning disguised as a setback. Your wounds may be deep, but they are not the end of you. They are the evidence that you have lived, that you have risked, that you have loved. And if you let them, they will become the very place where your resilience is forged. So rise, not because it's easy, but because you can. Rise, not because you're unafraid, but because your courage is greater than your fear. Rise, not because you will never fall again, but because you now know how to rise. That is resilience. Thank you.